Hi, hey, hello. I am coming to you this time from my work trip. It is Thursday of the previous week, and I think that you're not going to see a ton from me while I'm on this work trip, but I wanted to start the vlog here and show you guys kind of what this trip is looking like for me. So I am gone for 3 days in Daytona, Florida. I don't live too far from there, to be honest, normally, but Daytona is right on the beach, whereas where I live is very much swampland. So I will be here until Saturday evening, and then I'll be home like normal. You're not gonna hear much from me on this trip, like I said, but I wanted to show you that I am in fact in a hotel, which is very nice. And then right outside my window, let's take a look. It's quite possibly the nicest view I have ever seen. This is my own personal balcony. I'm gonna be doing as much reading out here as I can, but I don't think you can hear me super well out there, so we're gonna come in here and chit chat a little bit. So I am a graphic designer, but my company does shows, and so I get to go on them and work the show booth, talk to customers about our product, get people to know who we are. It's really fun. I've never done it before, but I'm assuming it's really fun. Let's discuss some reading plans. So right now I am currently reading 2 books. My audiobook is Words of Radiance, which is a reread, and it is the sequel to The Way of Kings, which is in the Stormlight Archives, written by Brandon Sanderson. It's a reread. I love it. It's like 1,000+ pages, and the mere fact that I'm willing to reread that just goes to show you. I think the first time I rated it something like 4 stars, but I think that when I first read it, my rating scale was a little bit more strict, so I'm kind of expecting myself to rate it closer to a 4.5 this time. I am also reading In the Ravenous Dark. Oh, I don't know who the author is. I found out by starting the book that the author goes by she, they pronouns, so get ready for me to do a lot of she and they pronouns in the rest of this video. So I started that book the other day, actually in the last vlog, if you want to go watch that one first and catch up to where we are at. But right now I'm like maybe 25 to 30% into it. I'm not totally sure. I'm supposed to be finishing it tomorrow to follow on with my schedule, but there's no way that is happening. But I do hope to get a huge chunk of it done tonight because I am loving it. So we're following this girl who her father in the prologue is killed right in front of her, and he has told her all her life, because he is a blood mage, that she has to hide the fact that she's a blood mage, because blood mages are taken by the government and forced to work for them and are warded to this spirit or ghost thing that is supposed to help protect them from people and to help protect people from them. And the government, the king, is very corrupt and uses these blood mages to his own wants and needs. So very early on in the book, something happens where our main girl is discovered. It's told in the summary, and so she starts to work for the king, and things are getting really good. I'm kind of suspicious that there might be an enemies to lover. Our main character is pansexual, and the book is like tagged for polyamory, so I'm really excited to see how that turns out, because I don't think I've ever read a fantasy book with those 2 combinations, but I'm ready for it. I'm back home. I had a long week. It is Sunday night and I'm tired. I'm really worn out. It's been a weird week and it's just gonna get weirder, and I want to apologize now because I can already feel that this week is going to be a really bad vlogging week because some things have happened with work that I'm not going to go into here, but they are happening and it's making me a wreck. My trip was good. So I did have book mail today, but I opened it on my own because I didn't want to bother, and I was in a bad mood most of today. So let me go get it. Last week I opened up books 2 and 3 of From Blood and Ash, and so the first one, which is the 3rd book to arrive, has arrived, and I can now put it on my stack of books that I need to pay for. Well, I don't need to pay for this one. I've actually already paid for it in previous months because I've already owned the audiobook, and I'm not going to be getting to these for a little bit, but you'll see them shortly. You'll see them this summer for sure. After getting through the first 2 books of ACOTAR and really enjoying book 2, it made me realize that fantasy romance needs a shot in my life, and up until now I haven't really given it a shot because I had read some that I really didn't like. But I think that maybe part of the reason why I didn't like them, I'm starting to connect the dots, was because they were YA fantasy romance. And so far I've read 2 fantasy romance series that were new adult, and I've liked both of them a lot, like 4.5, 5-star books. I'm giving this one a shot and I'm excited to get to it, but it's not what we're here to talk about. I haven't read any of the book In the Ravenous Dark I started the Book of Coley, made it 2 chapters in. I really don't like the writing style that it has. It's that like, it's written exactly how people speak, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And it felt like another thing that it had was character at end of story is telling me from the beginning of their story on. And sometimes that can be done well, and sometimes it is just annoying to me, and this time it was just annoying to me. And I wouldn't say it was necessarily a bad book. I was definitely curious about like the deadly plants and stuff, but not enough to put up with the writing, and I'm just being fair to myself this year. So if I don't want to read it, I don't want to read it. Last month I was doing this thing where if I felt like I read enough of a book when I DNF'd it that I could count it towards bingo. I did not read enough of this book to count it towards bingo, so it is just a DNF. Starting something else, but it's for a secret TV bar, so I'm not going to talk about it here. And I'm hoping tomorrow to make a chunk through In the Ravenous Dark, because I haven't read it in a few days, and I really, really, really enjoyed where I left off. It's just today was kind of a day of anxiety, so I didn't read at all. I mean, I listened to some audiobooks, but I think I've listened to like 30 minutes of an audiobook today, and that's it. Tomorrow I am off of work, which is great. It is much needed after working all of the days that I did. I don't even know how much I worked last week, but Friday I worked 9 hours and Saturday I worked 10. I'll be happy to be off of work tomorrow, and I'm hoping to just sit and read, relax, do some cooking, maybe watch some TV. Like, it is going to be a day of nothingness. Actually, I kind of was thinking about like going to Goodwill, because the Goodwill's less than a mile from me, and just picking up a puzzle and making it on my coffee table and listening to my audiobook. Tomorrow I am going to be reading the entirety of The Bad Beginning from Series of Unfortunate Events. It's only like 3 hours long on the audiobook, so it's going to take me an hour and a half to get through. And so I'm just going to listen to it, knock it out tomorrow. I will be doing one of these books a week for the next 13 weeks starting tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. It's a Tuesday. I didn't talk to you guys yesterday. It would have been great for me to talk to you yesterday. I took the day off of work and I could have vlogged like everything that I did here, but I kind of took a mental break. I feel like I'm getting really close to burnout if I'm not already there, and so I just stopped everything, which really sucks that when I'm feeling burnt out from work, the things I have to stop doing are personal. But I pulled up my Switch and I played that most of the day. I actually haven't done any physical reading in a few days now, but I did listen to the entirety of Series of Unfortunate Events, The Bad Beginning, yesterday, which is a pretty short audiobook. I listened to most of it on my walk, and I really enjoyed it. I like this series a lot. I think that it does a lot of good. The first time I read it, I rated it 5 out of 5 stars. This time I rated it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I think the first time I had some issues with it, but I didn't quite know how to discuss them or how to talk about them, and so I just rated the book 5 out of 5 stars and just kind of moved on. But this time I felt like I better understood what was like slightly nagging me about it, and it's literally just one thing. Like, there's one small-ish thing that I feel like the author didn't handle super well, and that just happens to be disabled characters. Every single disabled character that he has in the books is a villain of some type, and not that all of his villains are disabled, but all of them are weird in some aspect or another, and I just feel like it plays into that whole entire idea of people who aren't able, or people who aren't normal, or people who aren't like neurotypical are villains, and that you're starting to teach children at a young age that that's how they view people like this. I think the TV show actually did a better job of having redemption arcs and not showing the villainous characters who have disabilities as villainous characters, but instead as people that society villainizes, and they just happen to be following a villain, but are like good-hearted people. But the book, I just feel like, fails it a little bit in that area, but I still really enjoyed it, and I still think it's a good book, and I can't wait to talk with my book club a little bit more about it as we continue on with the series. So I did read that for young adult, so I can remove this and I get to swap this card now, which I'm hoping new to me. New to me. What did I mean by that? I guess that means it's not a reread. I guess that's what I meant. Or maybe it like recently came on my shelf. I don't remember. God, that's ridiculous. I thought I would like all of these would be super easy. I was hoping to use something that I'm kind of playing around with the idea that the reptile room could be used for forest setting, because it does kind of have a jungle-y setting, and I myself don't totally know the difference between a jungle and a forest. Like, I get the difference, but like trees. And then I was thinking about using Miserable Mill or The High Window, whichever one's the third one, for next in a series, but I don't have a plan for the fourth one this month on this board yet. So I was hoping this card would give me an option, but it did not, because the fourth book is not new to me in any sense of the word. I am going to actually try to sit down now, take a bath, and read some of In the Ravenous Dark because I'm loving the book. I just have no motivation to read a single thing. Like if I get to the end of this month and I finished my book club book, my 3-4 buddy reads, and like a select few other things, I'm gonna feel good about myself. I'm not gonna push myself past that like I was doing at the beginning of this year because it's bound to happen. It is Wednesday, my dudes. I say that every single time I film a Wednesday video clip, but I apologize. It's all my brain knows. It's Wednesday, it's really hot out. Today in Florida, I think it reached up to 93 with a feels like 97 temperature. So I am just like please someone just blast me with a fan, put on some AC. I'm done. It's May 5th. Cinco de Mayo. I have a family dinner. I wish I didn't so I could go get tacos, to be completely honest. Let's talk about what's been going on. So last night after I left you all, it took me a little bit. I kind of dilly-dallied, but I eventually started reading In the Ravenous Dark again. And oh my God, I'm loving it. I read 10% last night. And then today at work when I could, I read like 2% on my break. It wasn't much. I didn't have a ton of time, to be completely honest, but I'm making my way through it. And I think I'm going to be finishing it up shortly, hopefully this week in this vlog. I'm loving it. I'm loving it so much. It's just pulling me in, and it's good. I almost want to do a whole video just for it because I don't know how to talk about it here in a vlog where I'm going to just go on and on and on about it. And I like to kind of wrap up, be kind of short, 5 minutes, let's move on for vlog clips on specific books. But I don't even fully know how to talk about it at this point. It's so good. It might be a 5-star. It might be a 4.5, but it might be a 5-star. But I'm only 36% through, so there's still a lot to happen. I'm also making progress on my audiobook listen of The Golem and the Genie, which is the book I picked up after The Bad Beginning. I technically picked it up before that. I picked it up the day before, listened to a chapter, realized that was really dumb because I needed to read the entirety of The Bad Beginning on Monday. So I set it back down and then I picked it back up on Tuesday after I finished. I am really enjoying it. I'm going to be talking about it completely in a video that'll be coming out at some point. I don't even think I have it scheduled yet because there's so much work that needs to go into that video, and I have only done 2% of it so far, but I'm thinking end of June, early July, you should be seeing that one, but I'll probably talk about it more in my wrap up. Right now, I just really don't have a ton to say about it. And that's it. That's it on reading. I've kind of set down Words of Radiance for the time being because I tend to do that with Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive, where I'll read 20% of it and then I'll take a week off and read something else, and then I'll read 20% of it and then I'll take a week off, just to help me feel like I'm actually accomplishing things. Because if I spend all of my time just reading Stormlight, then 2 weeks later I've only read one book, and I don't like that feeling. It's awful that I feel that way. I don't feel accomplished. I feel accomplished based on how many books I've read, not on how much I've read in that time. It's Saturday, May 8th. I just woke up. It's 8:30. I never sleep in this late, so it was great. It felt really good. I haven't talked to you guys in a few days because I have just not been reading, and I had nothing to come and say to you. I made barely any progress on In the Ravenous Dark, and then I decided I am gonna do an entire video on that, which should be coming out this Friday, so stay tuned and you should see that shortly. And then I made some progress on The Golem and the Genie, but I didn't make a ton, to be honest, and since I'm doing another video on that, there's not really much for me to say on that book here. I am in such a slump right now. I don't want to listen to my audiobook. I don't want to read physically. I don't know what's going on, but I did decide to start rewatching The Handmaid's Tale. So I originally watched all of season 1, I think all of season 2 and part of season 3, but I don't know if I actually made it to season 3 or not. And season 4 just came out, so I decided to start over because I was I don't really remember small details. I remember the big picture stuff, but I don't remember details. And I'm so glad I did because honestly, I forgot a ton, and I'm really enjoying my rewatch. As much as you can enjoy a show like The Handmaid's Tale, I mean, I've cried in almost every single episode at this point. which is fun. I'm also working on a puzzle right now, and so that's what's kind of nice, is I can just like watch the show and work on the puzzle. But this morning I woke up and I was like, instead of watching TV, you could put an audiobook on and listen to that and do your puzzle. So I don't have a ton left for the puzzle, so I was searching for something to make up for flowers on the cover, since Book of Coley was a miss for me. And I was just like, oh well, so many YA books have flowers on the cover, but since I'm like in a slump, I'm not wanting to dedicate myself to even like a 10-hour audiobook right now, especially because I need to be finishing up all of my other stuff this weekend. Like I need to finish In the Ravenous Dark, The Golem and the Genie, and I need to listen to The Reptile Room, and tomorrow I'm spending all day with family, so I need to finish all of those because next week I have to be reading certain things. So I don't want to start something new that's like 10 hours, because that'll take my whole day away of reading, because that's basically what I can dedicate. So I found is it called The Spinner and the Spindle? The Sleeper and the Spindle, which is like a short story by Neil Gaiman. My library has it. It has a flower on the cover and it's an hour long. So I'm going to listen to that, which will take me probably about 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more if I slow down the speed if I'm not feeling it. Dedicate some more time to reading, hopefully. Hopefully this will just be the nice kick that I needed to get back into reading, because I think what happened is I just got out of the routine of it, and now I like can't get myself back into the routine of it, because last weekend, or was it the weekend before, I bought Hulu again. So I don't always own Hulu. I like buy it when I want it, and then I don't have it the rest of the time, and I try to like watch as much as I can in the month that I pay for it. So I watched all of the new Bob's Burgers season, which I hadn't seen any of, and then I started rewatching it, and then I decided to go back and rewatch The Handmaid's Tale instead of finishing Bob's Burgers. So I got into the habit of watching TV instead of reading, and then I bought a new game for my Switch, so I've been playing that when I'm not watching TV, and it's like great and fun, and I'm so glad I'm doing it. But I need to at least keep some reading every single day, even if it's just a chapter of a book, because it's important to me and I want to be doing it. Yesterday I did go shopping and I got a few things. Let's see if I can pick it up. I got this plant, which is really cool. Mug is me. The plant is new. What is it called? It is a Dracenius Goddefsunia. I don't know how to say any of that. Usually they have like an easier to say name. Oh, it's called a Florida Beauty. That's weird because it's from the Canary. I thought the Canary Islands were not in Florida. Anyways, it's really pretty, and I think it might be blooming something on this side. It might just be more leaves, but that's new from yesterday, and it's really pretty, and I like it, and I'm excited. I like getting new plants. I got some plants for Mother's Day gifts for some people in my life, so I decided to treat myself with that. And then I got a few other items that are just for like general stuff. Like I bought bananas and I bought my puzzle, but I did go book shopping, and I'm here to show you what I bought. So I decided to pick up the physical copy of Empire of Sand. I do own the audiobook, so it doesn't count towards bingo, but I've always had my eye on this book, always. And I heard bad things about it, and then recently I heard some reviews that spoke really highly of it, and in those reviews they said things that I like. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up. It wasn't that bad. It was $15 for the paperback, and it's so floppy, and it's something I've been like really wanting to read. I've had my eye on it for a long time, like I said, so I was like, you know what, just pick it up. It doesn't count towards bingo, so why not? I also picked up The Rune of Kings, which is my book club pick for the month. Since I've been struggling with reading, I thought that having it both as an audiobook and as a physical book might help me get through it. Since I have the physical book, I can tab and highlight and underline and all that stuff, and it'll be helpful for when we talk about it as a book club. And since I'm going to be reading it this month, it won't count towards bingo, so that's great. 2 books that I bought that don't count towards anything. And then third does count. I bought Realm Breaker. I loved Red Queen, and then I didn't like any of the following books in this series, but I really liked Red Queen, and I like Victoria Aveyard's writing, and I like Victoria Aveyard as a person. I follow her on a few different platforms, and she's just so personable, and she's so unapologetic, but like in a good way. I just really like her, so I wanted to support her, and this book looks so good. And I was just gonna borrow it from my library because my library has the audiobook, but it was gonna take 6 months. And then of course, after I bought it, I woke up this morning and they bought more copies, and it's coming in like 6 weeks. So, oh well. But I'm glad I supported her, because yesterday I went and read the description, and I'm not gonna read it to you right now. I'll read it to you guys whenever I get to this book. But it has like a found family and like a group of people doing different things. Like, you know, one's an assassin, one's a magician kind of a thing, and there's like a bunch of them, and it sounded really, really good. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick it up. It's so pretty. I think that's it for this moment. I'm gonna go listen to the Neil Gaiman book. I'll let you guys watch me work on my puzzle while I listen to it, and then I'll come back, tell you how I felt about it, take my bingo tile off, mark off these two, and then I'll let you go because I gotta edit this video today as well. I just finished The Sleeper and the Spindle by Neil Gaiman. So let's quickly just take this off because that's easy. We'll come back to those in a second. That was amazing. That was so freaking good. Like, I don't like retellings. I can't really stand them. I just feel like I know the story already and I'm bored, and this was a retelling of as if after Snow White becomes queen, but before she's married, because she's queen in this story and she doesn't need to get married to become queen, she goes on a journey to save Sleeping Beauty because Sleeping Beauty's curse is spreading from just Sleeping Beauty to all of the people, and it's spreading past like Sleeping Beauty's land into Snow White's land. And so Snow White goes with some of her dwarves to wake her. It was fantastic. It was creepy and eerie, and it was told in such a way that like it didn't really read like a retelling. And it was short, yes, but like it was like the perfect amount. And guess what? It had an open ending, which I love. I think I'm gonna rate it 5 stars, which is ridiculous because that makes it my favorite Neil Gaiman book I've ever read. Up until now, it was The Ocean at the End of the Lane, which I read either last month or the month before and also has an open ending. But The Ocean at the End of the Lane just like lost me a little bit near the ending, and I only rated it a 4.75, but it is on my list of favorite books I've read this year because like it is. But now this was fantastic, like so good. There was a huge twist at the end that like I didn't see coming, and I was like, oh, and it was creepy and eerie because like the people who are asleep, whenever they would interact with the queen, so Snow White's character, they would like sleepwalk towards her, or like there'd be these spiders like crawling down their faces, and it was fantastic. And the audiobook was a full cast production, so like people had different voices, there was music, there was sound effects. It was great, and it broke like all the tropes that I had issues with in both Snow White and Sleeping Beauty. Like it broke everything. Yeah, 5 stars. This is fantastic. If your library has this book, go get it. It's an hour. It will not take you long. I listened at ×2 speed, but even if you listen at 1 time speed, like it's still a fantastic book. It took me, I think it was 66 minutes long. Like go find it. This was so good. Okay, moving on now from that. I'm so glad I listened to it. Like this is why I play bingo, is because otherwise I would have never read books like this. Yes, I get annoyed with bingo because it forces me into positions and sometimes it means I can't read the books I want to read, but there have been a few times this year where it has forced me to read something to fulfill a category, and those books have become my favorite of the year. It happened with Sina Martinez in The Moonlit Beginning of Everything, and it's happened a few times, and I'm grateful for it. Yeah, I'm annoyed most of the time by the board, but every once in a while something like this happens, and I'm so grateful that I'm playing this game. Let's flip these last 2 and then I will leave you for this week. What does that say? Fire on the cover. And the next one, coin flip. Okay, so that means that I pick 2 books and I flip a coin to decide which one I'm going to read. Oh, that actually works out really well. So hold on. So I actually need to read both of these books next week. I need to read The Ruin of Kings because it is a book club pick, and I need to read Air Awakens because it's a buddy read pick, and I was supposed to read one of them this week, but I wasn't able to do it because of my slump. But the 3rd week of the month, I'm going to be reading the 3rd book in ACOTAR, and the 4th week I'm going to be reading Silver Flames. Is that what it's called? Can't see it. The fourth book in Akatar. So that doesn't leave me, that doesn't leave me any more time to read one of these after those. So I need to read both of these this week, but I think I'm going to do a coin flip on them to see which one I'll start first. I gotta find a coin now. I'm gonna go heads and tails. I am going to flip it, and if I get heads, I will read Air Awakens, and if I get tails, I will read The Ruin of Kings. This is gonna be kind of difficult because you're not gonna be able to see it. Okay, let's just go. I'm gonna do it on the carpet too. Okay, it's tails. Do you want to see it? I'll show it to you. It's tails. I guess I'm reading The Ruin of Kings first. Okay, fate has chosen. And I want to thank you all for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you so much. I really do. Let me know down below if you've read any of these books. Let me know down below if you're gonna go check out The Sleeper and the Spindle, because boy, if I've learned anything this week, it's that. And also now you know the sneak peek for what next week's book is going to be. I will be reading The Ruin of Kings with you all in my next week's vlog. So hopefully I can get myself out of this funk and we can move on. Once again, thank you for watching. I don't remember how my outro goes, but until next time, I will talk to you in the comments. Bye.